Welcome, listeners, to the Gamer Headlines Show, Gamer Headlines' weekly entertainment podcast. This is episode 67. I'm one of your co-hosts, Adnan Riaz. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Chris Cortez.
Hello, everybody. It's me, Chris Cortez, Adnan's co-host, and the guy, the guy who has two thumbs and just had a. Wait, I ruined that joke. Whatever. Yesterday was my birthday. Yeah. So yeah, it was my birthday though. I am officially. This is my first episode as a 29-year-old. So if you guys watch last episode, that was me at 28. So
no problem. It's when you hit 30, that's when it's worrying.
Actually, yeah, I was telling the Adnan, what am I talking about? I was telling Adnan before we did the show that I'm actually cool with it, man. Like, I remember when I was 19, I freaked out because I'm like, I'm not going to be a teenager anymore. And when I was 25, I freaked out because I'm like, I want to stop aging. But honestly, dude, I'm okay with it, man. Like, if I'm going to turn 30, who the fuck cares? I'm still the same person. I'm still going to make dick and fart jokes for the rest of my life. I'm just, it's a different digit or whatever. It's a different, like, order
different
of
day.
number.
Yeah,
Exactly, yeah, so... but yeah, it was my birthday. That was pretty cool, and I got to. I told all this to Adnan, but I'll let you guys know. I ended up just eating pizza the whole day, for my favorite local pizzeria, and I got into like a food coma and just passed. Like I had to like lay down for 2 hours and just not do anything. And actually, fuck, dude, I guess this is gonna be my talk nerdy to me segment anyway. But also my mother-in-law, she bought me Fallout 4 for my birthday. And
Fallout 4.
Yeah, and dude, I was lucky because you know how like when Bethesda announced it at their E3 conference, they also said, "Oh, and it comes with a copy of Fallout 3," and everyone's like, "Holy shit!" Well, remember how like I think last month they said, "Okay, that's it. We're not going to produce copies of Fallout 4 anymore with a copy of Fallout 3, so that's it. The promotion period is over." My copy had it. I was so happy. I happened to get like a first, run copy of it, and so I have two games in one, Fallout 4 and Fallout 3. It's okay. So before I say this, I'm just gonna briefly give my first impressions on it. Before I start talking about this, for the record, I've never played a Fallout game before. I understand Fallout 3 was Bethesda's first Fallout, and I think Interplay did Part 1 and Part 2. I did a little bit of a history lesson before I did the show. And I understand, all that. I like the game. I think it's a fun game. I'm so happy it was given to me as a gift. I can't wait to get into it even more. But you know what, man? It's just not, like, I may not ever get a Fallout 5. I don't know. I have to play more of the game. Like, I have to beat the game first and really reflect on it. But honestly, like, another open world game came out last year that I got really into and I bought, which was Witcher 3. And I thought that game was fucking phenomenal. I think it was, like, one of the best games ever made. It's such a fucking good game. But Fallout 4, honestly, it's kind of like, to me, it's a little bit more complicated to get into than, like, there's a steep learning curve. So, like, Witcher 3 I thought was easier to get into. I got into it, and I was just, playing, and I was able to appreciate the world around me. Fallout 4, I feel, has a bit of a more steep learning curve, so it's harder for me to start really getting into the mythology and getting into, like, what's going on around me and the environment and really, getting into it. But that being said, it's fun. I think it has a lot of character. I think the designs in those games are so fucking cool. Like, there's this detective, I think his name is Detective Valentine, and I think he's like a robot or something, and like some of his like fake skin is missing, and he looks so fucking cool. It's like a post-apocalyptic robot detective. It's so fucking cool. And so some of that I think is phenomenal, but I don't know, there's something about it that I'm having trouble getting into it. Like, the controls feel off to me. You could switch between third person and first person, and like Battlefront, I knew immediately I want to play this in first person. Fallout, I keep switching. I'm not sure which one I want. Sometimes I want first, sometimes I want third. So it's weird, man. It's like I'm trying to really, really, really get into it, but I'm kind of having a hard time. But it's still a fun game. Like, I think it's definitely worth the full price, of admission. Yeah, I don't know. That's really all I have to say on it for now. Fallout 3. Oh, and then Fallout 3. It's okay, but like once you start playing 4, and I don't know if this has ever happened to you, dude, but like I'll play a game, right? and like in this current generation, and like I'll get really into it, and then I'll become curious, and I'm like, shit, let me go play like the older game in the series I've never played before, and then I put it in, and the graphics are uglier, so they kind of turn me off from playing.
Yeah,
Has that ever happened? Like,
it happens with me too much with Fallout, because I know obviously graphics aren't make or break, but I do enjoy
Right.
looking at something nice. I feel like if you can polish up the game so much, if make it a Marvel spectacle piece in like terms of gameplay, you can easily do it with graphics, and
Right.
there's no real artwork to Fallout to really kind of make it stand out from its from its competition and everything else. It just does look like it's a half-assed job that's not really been put any effort into like developing new engine or like running new ideas or anything else. But just in general sense, Fallout was kind of like that game where I played Fallout 3. I liked what it was doing with all the ideas, but it just came unnecessarily complicated.
Yeah,
And to the
right?
point where, for someone like me, it wound me up. Like, when you could carry stuff around, it's like, here's your weight limit. I'm like, right. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what's the even point of this? I know some games do it for like authentic web approach or whatever you want to do it, but at the same time, I was like, what? This just, why? Like, and just looked like where I was going, like, there's no real huge direction in missions and stuff like that.
Right.
I was stumbling across places, I was just stumbling wastelands and stuff like that. I don't, obviously, it's open world, but for me, I just felt like there was no kind of objective, no mission. I just felt like I was walking until I found something. I was like, oh, this is a cool idea. And I just got stuck in like an unnecessary place. And it was one of those big games where I was like, fair enough, you like it. But for me, I just could not stand it for them. I mean, I was just like really quick to switching those kind of games off.
Yeah. No, I feel like I'm actually kind of like half and half right now with Fallout 3. I'm thinking of just dropping Fallout 3 and just focusing on Fallout 4. Because 4, graphically, it looks a lot better. And I think it's a little bit easier to understand than 3. And it seems, I think they got like a lot of the things you just mentioned, I agree with. And I think Bethesda knew that. So for 4, they kind of like tried to fix it a bit. But dude, it was a gift I got. Like, so I have no buyer's remorse. It was given to me as a gift. So, and I think it's fun. I'm having fun so far. But like, yeah, I don't know. I think I need to, like I mentioned earlier, I think I have to finish it first, before I consider any future entries or anything like that. Like they just announced, what is it, the expansion pack, and I'm good. Like at this point, I'm like, I'm not that excited. With Witcher, oh dude, I beat that game, and the first thing I did was buy the expansion pass, and that first expansion was excellent. I can't wait for the second one to come out sometime this year. So yeah, that was really cool. But no, to anyone who likes Fallout, I'm not shitting on the game. It's just my thoughts anyway, my opinions. I remember, like buttholes, we all have them. But I'm digging it though. It's enough that I want to see how it ends, and then from there, I think I'll probably on the show I'll come back and I'll give like my full impressions on it. But I do see the appeal though. Holy shit! Like people really, it has a there's a sense of style in it and character that I think is unique to it. So it's pretty cool. Oh, and my character, I built my character. It's a dude. I just use the default character because I always do that. Like with Shepard, I use default Shepard because, like, canonically, I'm like, well, that's what they want me to play, so I'll do it. I'm like that. I like to pretend I'm like acting in the, in the world, role playing, whatever you want to call it. I never make the characters look like me unless it's like Darth Revan and there is no preset thing, and then I'll do it. But
yeah, I wish I had done that in MGS5, but like, because my canon ending is just not makes no sense at all. But, right, well, yeah, that's good though.
Yeah.
I'm really happy you enjoyed your birthday.
Thanks, man.
All the other perks that came with it.
It's good stuff. Pizza and video games. What more could you ask for?
20 more years and you'll be in your late 50s when they make your copies. I'll be on top of like Metal Gear Ray shouting these off to your clones.
Another 10 years and I'll be a dead clone of the old man.
Cortez was in his late 50s when they made his copies.
I would love that so much. Like that's the limit my clone has. That was Cortez's dream. It was his dying wish. Like
you're running out of time.
Hurry! It's going to blow. That's what Liquid says to his lady friends.
No.
I'm assuming Liquid has lady friends. I mean, Big Boss seemed to. Whatever.
Wolf.
Yeah, that's true. He had a lady. Yeah. But dude, I hear I think. No, you didn't mention this on the show. What you're about to talk about.
I think
right?
I mentioned it last week. I think I briefly mentioned it in like passing.
Right.
But yeah, I got around to watching 11/22 '63. So outside of the Walking Dead premiere and all that other good stuff that I've been up to, I actually got around to watching this new show. So it's based on a Stephen King novel,
Right.
and the idea is that James Franco's who's in the show, which is like in itself quite worrying because it's James Franco. But props to him though. Like I'm giving props. Like this is completely his hour.
The new Goblin, dude. Where's Norman, man? Come on.
Yeah. So basically, he plays Jake Epping, who's like, is he like a retired? I think he's a retired teacher. Well, he's a teacher.
Yeah. Right.
And kind of like he's struggling with like he's coming to terms with being divorced and all the other good stuff that you want to put into character development. But anyway, the like kind of short story is he learns that he can time travel to a certain date, which is in 1960. Like before anything, he will land in 1960 when he goes through this cupboard. And the concept is that the fact that he can go back in time, and however long he stays in 1960 America, and obviously years can pass whilst he stays there. That will only be 2 minutes in real time.
Mm-hmm.
So that is kind of like the idea of what it is. And basically, in the long run, he's going to try and figure out who killed JFK.
Right.
Like, who was the main thing? Was it Lee Harvey Oswald? Was it X person? Was it Y person?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I actually got to watching it, and like this kind of show is literally what I kind of like my wet dream in terms of like someone who loves history, and obviously Metal Gear and like revisionist history or reimagining history or whatever it's called. I can't remember the exact same term, but it's a cool idea for what it was. Watched the pilot. Pilot was really strong. The concept is a bit stupid though, with the cupboard. Because there's no real kind of context. It's a mystery, yeah, but it's also Stephen King nonsense.
Yeah.
The kind of idea of like you going through a cupboard. I'm like, what? There's no purpose of this cupboard.
Like, what was in it?
Yeah, like
was it like his skis, and then they just fell in 1960? Some guy took his skis. Like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, it's just weird for that. And it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't really fit in even with the pilot. And I agree with this as well as I was talking to my brother about it at the end. It feels like there's too many endings in this one episode. As if they were like so much on the pilot.
Yes.
That they started to explore like 15 different scenarios. I'm like, there's no real kind of like, start, middle, finish. Not every show has to do that because otherwise everything would be boring. But it feels like it kind of like just, it unravels a bit too quickly and loose strings start to fall apart and it does this and it does that. And it's like, wait, what? Because there's cool ideas. It's just like when he goes to the betting ring and he starts putting bets down.
Mm-hmm.
And he's obviously cheating, if you want to put it that way. So like, he's betting on this fight, he's betting on that fight, and like, whatever else, and he wins, and then they're going to try and chase after him. But there's cool ideas behind it. James Franco is definitely like, does a spectacular job in every way, shape or form. Props to him. Like, you just wish that sometimes he just does more roles like this. Especially last time with Seth Rogen. But like, yeah, the actual like the set pieces, the like kind of the locations, the props, everything is just so spectacular. You feel like you've been shoved into a time machine. And then just like even the story as well, it was very interesting. I love the idea where he's obviously this doesn't make sense. The guy who owns the diner passes away. What's he called? Is he called Al Tepton or something?
Fuck yeah, I forgot his name.
Yeah, whatever he's called. Like that, he kind of makes no sense that he's narrating after certain incidents that happen in that episode. I'm not going to obviously spoil it, but he keeps narrating for the episode, which made little sense. But there's also the good idea where, there's that one scene where he's talking to him, and then he's like, "Now you're on your own." Mm-hmm. He's basically navigating him because he's done it before, but then he stops. And he's like, "This happened to me, and I didn't know what happened next. It's down to you." That's really cool. Like, it was a good idea of like how it's shot and just everything else. Really good show. I'd recommend it. It's only 8 episodes, and from what I saw in the first episode, I know you watched the second episode, and we're going to try and do a whole season spoiler cast on it, hopefully, because obviously Becca's been watching it. But definitely good show. Recommend it completely. I think it's got a lot of potential. But the thing is, though, with this kind of show, even with every kind of Stephen King adaptation, it looks so great to start off with, but it can literally fall apart because the stories don't really have like a coherent, like a beginning, middle, end. They can just fall apart because he's going through so much different stuff, and it's just like you get lost and you're just like uninterested. Great, yeah. It's great. It's a great. The entire opening is great, just for drawing someone into the pilot and everything else. Brilliant, fantastic. Props to them. But can they keep it up? That's the big question afterwards.
Yeah, like no, exactly. I mean, Stephen King stories in the past definitely have a case of erectile dysfunction, if you know what I mean.
Well, that's a very eloquent thing. It's all about the poop shoot today, isn't it?
Thank you. I'm 29 years old. But what's it called? No, but dude, I seriously speaking, I do agree with you. But I got into it by the way because Adnan brought it up to me. So I
I'm
spoke
good at
it.
doing that.
Yeah,
Big Hero 6, Chris. Big Hero
yeah. I
6.
need to. That's my next one, dude. But so I told my wife about it, and she was like, "I'm so down." And we watched it, and yeah, I agree with Adnan. The pilot is great. It's a great setup. It did have a lot of endings. It was like the Return of the King of pilots. But what I didn't like about it, I don't want to spoil it because Adam hasn't seen it yet. But I did like episode 1. Episode 2, not as much. Felt they kind of deviated from off course a little bit, and I get why they did it, but it was kind of a bit much. And the pacing I think was off. But I'm still into it. Like I'll see next week's episode, and I'll keep going on it, and I definitely do recommend it as well. I think it's a cool show, dude. Adam, by the way, I forgot to mention this in my Talk Nerdy to Me segment or whatever. Dude, I got to see Back to the Future 35 millimeter.
35 million. Oh.
Yeah, man, on the big screen, I got to see fucking classic Back to the Future. There's I think I mentioned this before. There's a local cinema near me that people can rent out the theater and show movies and shit. And there's a cool as shit place in Miami called the Secret Celluloid Society. That's their name. And they show classic old movies on 35 millimeter every Saturday night at it starts at 11:30 at night and ends until the movie ends. And I didn't really have the money to go see it, and my one of my close friends, who I call Holta, he that was my gift, my birthday gift from him. He invited my wife and I to go see the movie, and dude, it was so cool. Like I was really sleepy, so when I came home, I just fell asleep because it was like 2 a.m. But
I'm standing over you, Marty.
Marty, you're gonna see some serious shit. But dude, but the next day I woke up and I kind of really thought about it. I'm like, oh my god, I saw a 35 millimeter. Like I saw a print of the movie that's older than me. That's a 31-year-old print. Like I wasn't even alive when that thing was made, and that really amazed me. But dude, it looked fantastic. I mean, even with all like the film grain and all that stuff, like it looked great. It sounded great. It was so cool seeing that movie in theaters, man. I've never seen Back to the Future in theaters before. I wasn't alive. I don't think I saw maybe I saw 2 and 3 because I was alive, but I don't remember. I was too small. But I was so happy to see it, dude. First time I ever saw the first movie in theaters, and it was fucking great. I wanted to mention that because I thought, God, that was so cool. I got to see it.
Yeah, that's really cool. Cool.
Yeah, I still keep thinking about it randomly. I'm like, I got to see it. I kind of want to see it again.
It's a good experience for someone who loves films and everything else. Just in general, it's this authentic feel.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, can't say like a cinema fair about them, but like it just seeing it like that, it speaks tenfold about directors like Tarantino.
Yeah.
And their appreciation for it, and like Spielberg and stuff like that. It is fascinating on a film technical level.
And plus, seeing it with an audience, like seeing what scenes they laughed in, and
Yeah, I think that's one thing I do actually like about watching films in cinemas. I agree with you on that, but I also don't like it as well sometimes because I feel like people annoy me too much in there. So I'm like, stop laughing. I'm trying to watch something. You're talking. Get off your fucking phone and Snapchat. Get off it.
No, but this was cool. It was a unique experience because these are people that this movie's been around for 30 years. So I've seen this movie so many times. First time I saw it with a big audience, and everybody in there respected the movie. They're like, "We're seeing a classic. Like, fucking put away your phone." But you know what? What I thought was funny was people laughed when George McFly is like, "Lou, give me a milk chocolate," and then he throws in the milk. I never found that funny. I always kind of like chuckled at it. Everyone really found that funny, and I'm like, that's and the density part, like, "You're my density." What? Yeah. Everyone found that really funny. So
again, like kind of from a general speaking point, if you see stuff like the in-betweeners and everything else now, you'd laugh at stuff like that because it's cringe humor, and it's not intent. It's indirect. It's indirect cringe humor because I don't think cringe humor was really pulling its weight in 1980.
No, definitely
the 1980s and 1990s. But like because of stuff like the in-betweeners, you see stuff like that, you laugh, and it's even more reflective of yourself as well a little bit. Because if you're gonna I feel like when you watch a film like maybe 10 years afterwards, like I watched films when I was like 10 and be like, hey, you know what, this, but then I go watch them later on. Like, I mean, again, like I bring this example, Scream's like a perfect example.
Right.
Like I watch that like different times, and I watch different things, and I get the references more because you just feel like you're cultured and stuff. And when you learn things and kind of like you understand what they're doing and just like kind of how they relate, you do appreciate it a bit more because just him messing up something like that is just simple. It's funny, but it's also like you could probably relate to it.
Yeah, like you fucked up. You try to come off cool in the past, and then you mess up, and
Yeah.
So
I think no one wants to look at how cool, quote unquote, they were as a kid. Like I think no one wants to look at that.
Right. But so that was cool, man. I forgot to bring that up. That was a really cool. Definitely, I had a good birthday. Now that I come to think of it, I got to see Back to the Future, eat pizza. It's good stuff.